Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, so we are doing financial education videos. We also on Wednesdays do portfolio reviews, and for those of you who are new, my name is Paul Novak and I absolutely love saving, investing, spending, and talking about money, and that's what we're going to do today. I am super pumped to do this video because we are going to talk about fractional shares. And obviously my content is geared towards beginners, and I think fractional shares are a must if you are a beginning investor. And to be honest, if you're any investor, I think you should be doing fractional shares, especially if you're getting started with a small amount of money. And hopefully you find these videos helpful, and if you do, I'd always encourage you, smash that like button and subscribe. I always encourage comments, which we respond back to all comments. And if you're interested in starting saving or investing, I've got a ton of links down below with free stocks, money, and just different promotional offers. In this video, we are going to cover a ton of great stuff. So first, I'm going to get into really what are fractional shares. I'm also going to actually show you step by step how to purchase fractional shares. I'm going to talk about what brokerages offer fractional shares, and I'm also going to explain why this option is so important for investors. And I really want you guys to stay till the end where I break down a financial impact on not having fractional shares. I'm literally going to walk through the difference on how it can make you more money in the long run. And remember, I have chapters on all of my videos down below. So if there's any one of those concepts that's more important that you really want to check out, fast forward to it and just watch the stuff that you're interested in. And with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so let's get started with what is a fractional share, right? And why it's so important. And it is really as simple as it sounds. So a brokerage that offers fractional shares is literally allowing you to buy fractions of a share. And I'm going to show you how this actually works on my brokerage account, because for me, I learn better when I can actually see it versus listening to somebody just explain it. All right, so to keep this simple, I've actually got Robinhood pulled up on my phone, which you can obviously see right next to me on the screen. And I've got $5 that I left in this account specific to this video. So if you look here, you can see buying power being at $5. Now, I'm going to invest that $5 in an index fund. If you've watched my other videos, you know I'm into index funds, and we're going to put it in VTI. So I'm going to click on VTI. And when I click on it, you can see here that the share price for VTI is at $206.40. So what that means is if you do not have, or if you're in a brokerage that's a traditional brokerage that does not offer fractional shares, you cannot buy into this fund unless you have at least $206.40. And you can see here, I've only got $5 to invest. So I'm going to click on the bottom here on trade, and it's going to pull up buy or sell. I'm going to click on buy. Now, I've already got this set up for fractional shares because it's how I invest. But you can see here in the upper right-hand corner, it says dollars. That normally defaults to buy in shares, right? I want to click on that. I don't want to be on shares, and I want to click on buy in dollars. When I do that, it's telling me I only have $5 available to invest. So I'm going to click on that $5, click review, swipe up to confirm. And literally, it's that simple. It's now going to buy $5 of VTI first thing tomorrow morning. So just like I said, if I've got that fractional shares option, I could invest, you even saw it in there, as little as $1. Because I have this brokerage with fractional shares, I can do that. If I didn't, I wouldn't have that as an option. So now that I just walked through how to invest in fractional shares, you can see I did that with Robinhood. And I did that because that is still my primary brokerage. I've created a video for how to get started investing and using Robinhood. And I know they've taken a lot of heat lately. I know it's been controversial, and I don't push Robinhood because of how much I believe in just them as a company. I push it more because they offer fractional shares and zero trade fees. And to be honest, I'll say it in this video, I've said it in other videos, I don't care what brokerage you choose to go with. If you don't like Robinhood, don't select them. At the end of the day, I think it's just important. There are three main things that I look for whenever talking about a brokerage. Number one is that it has zero trade fees, right? Especially if you're investing with small amounts of money, you don't want to put $5 in and get paid a $5 fee for investing, right? You want to make sure that those trade fees are nothing. The second thing, which obviously we're doing a video on fractional shares, would be that your brokerage offers fractional shares. And I'm going to explain why more as we go on in this video. And the third thing would be like and subscribe to this video. No, all joking aside, really there's only two main things that I want you to focus on. We're keeping it simple. Have zero trade fees and make sure your brokerage has fractional shares. So I've done more research, and to be honest, most brokerages at this point do offer zero trade fees. So that's not anything that's, really hard to find at this point. But fractional shares are still not super common with every brokerage. So, some of the main ones I'm going to list off here that you can use, and there's probably more as there's new apps and brokerages coming out all the time, is Fidelity, there's Robinhood, there's Charles Schwab, you could use M1 Finance, you could use SoFi, Public is a new one that's gotten really big. Those are probably some of the key ones that I'd want you to follow. And ultimately, I encourage you to check these out before opening one up, because while these guys do offer fractional shares, they're not all created equally. And I'm just going to give one example. So Charles Schwab, I know, offers fractional shares, but when doing research, it looks like they only offer fractional shares in the S&P 500 companies. So obviously that does give you quite a few options, but that's not the same as all investments. Where on the flip side of that, I'll talk about Robinhood just because it's what I know the best. I've only found one or two holdings that do not offer fractional shares. For the most part, every single company and index fund I've looked to invest in offers fractional shares. All right, and now I want to talk about why I feel like this is such an important feature to have. At this point, we understand what fractional shares are, but as I said earlier in the video, if you're somebody who's starting off with small amounts of money to invest, which is how I started out, and it's even how I invest still to this day, I think fractional shares are so important. And for those of you who have followed me, you know that my strategy is dollar cost averaging, which I do every single week, and I stick a lot of that money into index funds. And if you're interested in what dollar cost averaging is, I'll post a video in the link that you can check out and learn more. But when doing this strategy, it's relatively simple. You're going to deposit small amounts of money into the market every single week. And if you can't buy fractions of a share, it's really only going to leave you with, two different options of things you can do. And both of these options, I don't think are very good options. So the first option that's out there is you look for shares that you can buy with the amount of money you're investing. So let's say all you've got to invest is $25. Now you're going out and trying to find investments or companies that you can buy that have a share price that's under $25. And I don't recommend that you do that. When you invest, you want to invest in the best companies that are out there. You don't want to have to worry about share price. So if you're looking and saying, well, what's available to me under $25? You've cut out a huge chunk of the market of where you could be investing. So I don't like that as an option. The second option you could do is just save up your money and let it build up. And once it gets high enough to stick into the fund that you want, then stick it in. But I see two big problems with that. For anybody who's invested or is new to investing, the emotional side of investing in the market is crazy. And I'd find it very hard to believe that if you've got $25 or $50 that you're continually saving up, that's not going to be burning a hole in your pocket to where you're going to want to be buying some sort of investment. It's very difficult to sit back and say, well, I'm just going to hold on to this until there's enough for me to buy a share in what I want. And the second thing that I'm going to say to that is you're also missing out on the opportunity for compounding interest. So if you've got to hold on to that money, let's say for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks until you can buy the company you want, you've missed out on 3 weeks worth of growth, which to me, again, isn't an option. So for those reasons, I think fractional shares are extremely critical. So now what I want to do is show you what this looks like investing in an index fund called VOO. It's the biggest holding I have. I support it in almost every single video that I've got, and it's an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. And if you don't know what an index fund is, I'll post a link to a video where I talk through index funds. But on my videos, I think it's really important that I show real life examples so that you can see not just concepts being talked about, but actually show the dollar figures for how this can impact your investment over time. So let's take a look at how that worked out. All right, so as you can see here on the screen, I tried to keep this really simple. The first column I'm going to talk about is S&P 500, and I just did this over the last year. So if you look, I actually have a breakdown of how that index performed week by week. And we're starting here, we got March 14th of 2021. And if I go back, it started on March 22nd. So it's about a full year. Then over here, scroll back up to the top. This is fractional shares. And again, we're focusing on dollar cost averaging. And here is non-fractional shares. So VOO, it's actually trading higher than this now, but it's been at about $350 a share. And for this example, I'm focusing on somebody that's putting $50 a week into the market. And to be honest, for somebody that's starting, I think $50 a week is a lot of money, right? So you might not even have that much to start. So as you see here, when I talk about dollar cost averaging, you can see every single week we're sticking $50 in. And as you can see how the S&P 500 changed over those weeks, you can see the value of this money growing. Right? Now, in contrary to that, if you cannot buy fractional shares, but let's say you still want to invest in this index fund, you need to wait until you get $350. That means for 7 weeks, you have to hold on to your money and save it, and you can't stick it into the market. And you can see even here, by the time I put the $350 in, we're up to $362 here, which is good. So it's made $12. But in contrast, because this money's been able to compound where we're putting in $50 a week, this right here equals $350. This here also equals $350, but I'm making more money. So the fractional shares is allowing me to get my money in quicker and let it start to grow quicker. And if I scroll all the way up to the top, the first thing that I want to talk about is, right, we've made 3% more money by dollar cost averaging in than what we were doing here with this lump sum investing because we didn't have the option of fractional shares. The other thing that I think is really important is, in this example, we're sitting on $150 that should be in addition to this. But again, we can't get the $150 into the market because the share price is $350. And I think if you look at this example, the other thing is share price continues to go up. So yeah, maybe when I'm shooting this video, the share price of VOO is $350, but by next year it could be up to $400 or $450. Well, then using the same example, you've got to wait 8 weeks to invest, 9 weeks to invest. That's over 2 months of needing to save up your money before you can put it into the market. And for me, I don't think that's worth it. So this is a very quick example that I wanted to show with real money just to try and help explain why I personally believe fractional shares are so important. Yeah, and so that's my take on fractional shares and just why I think it's so important. Hopefully you're finding these videos helpful, and if you do, I'd always encourage you to smash that like button and subscribe. As I always state, comments are always welcome. If you've got them, post them. We respond back to all comments. And if you're interested in investing or saving, I'll say it again, I've got all those links down below to check them out. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys back here next week where we're going to talk more saving, investing, and spending money. Have a good weekend.